Hey guys, we're back with another video. Today, we're going to talk about how to study for longer hours. Well, before we get started, I'd like to start with a question. Do we really need to study for 12 whole hours a day in order to be able to crack an exam or score very good marks? Well, if you ask me the same question, my answer to it would be a big no. Well, then you might be wondering as to why I'm here to talk about it then. I'm here just to share with you all a few tips and tricks that I followed as a part of my routine while I prepared for my CA final exams, and just a few personal experiences that might help at least a few of you out there. So let's get started. Firstly, do not aim to study for 12 hours or 10 hours or any stipulated time. Just make sure you have to study for longer hours with more concentration, because everyone's concentration span or their capacity to understand things and grasp things varies, and it is not going to be the same as that of another. So what one person can finish studying in 12 hours can be done by another in 10 hours and maybe faster in like 8 hours by someone else. So do not compare yourself with anybody else or even your friends, and do not panic if you get to hear from your friends that they have completed more or less in a different span of time. So that is something very important. And okay, now let me reveal to you all a very big secret that can help you push for longer hours. Do you know what the secret is? Taking more breaks. Guys, trust me, it might sound funny or idiotic, but it is not the case. I'm truly sharing with you all what I did. The more the number of breaks you take, I've realized the more we can get to push ourselves and study for longer hours, because the kind of breaks we take will keep us re-energized and will recoup ourselves to study better with more focus and energy levels when we continue after the break. So that's one thing. And after the secret, now let's move on to the things that I followed as a part of my daily routine. So first thing which I really like to emphasize on is a plan. So I used to call it a TTD, that is things to do. Never ever go to bed without putting a TTD or a plan for the next day, because unless you have a vision in place, you would be all over the place and you would lack direction when you are up the next day to start a day afresh. So set a plan or a routine and follow it as much as you can. It is okay if you're not able to follow it 100%, but do not have a plan. Then next comes alarms. I use my phone to set alarms every 15 minutes, and this not only helped me to keep track of the pace of my studying or completion of a particular concept or how fast I'm able to solve a particular sum, but also helped me keep track of the overall study plan and was helping me in breaking down my day into various chunks and parts, and that helped me gauge my level of understanding of each concept within that time span and on how far I was able to read or revise a particular topic. Third thing is to stay connected. It is extremely important and essential to stay connected to the world around. Do not think that you need to detach yourself completely from your friends or family or even social media for that matter while you're studying. A lot of people do advocate that, but I wouldn't, because it's not necessary, for I didn't do so. Always make sure you spend some time with your family. Little time, not a lot, at least little time with your family. And if you feel like you have to have a let out, talk to your friends and spend some time with them over phone as well. It can be for academic doubts and some extra talks, not a lot. And also social media like Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp and browsing through all of it is completely alright, provided you have a control over yourself on how long you're doing it. So that's another thing. And fourth is to have ample sleep and a proper eating schedule. That will really help. So eat, sleep, and also do not forget, do some small workouts or some kind of physical exercise to keep your body going and energized in the physical way. And the fifth thing that I like to stress upon is to jump between subjects or to alternate between theory and practical subjects, because again that will be of great help. That helps to break down the monotony that's been going on, so you don't feel that monotonous. Instead it will be more interesting and dynamic, so you can suddenly do one subject and then go on to the other if you're feeling bored after a particular point of time. So that is another thing. So one major takeaway I think that I have to share with you all is that it is your concentration span and the level of understanding that matters more than the time span for which you sit with a particular subject. So there are two types of breaks that you can take. One is a time-bound break and the other is a task-bound break. So in the former, we take breaks once in every 1 hour or 2 hours depending on our own capacity, come what may. So whether you're finished a particular topic or whether you're midway in a sum or reading through a particular paragraph, it's okay. Just take a break because you have to. While in the latter, that is your task-bound break, it is like you sit with a particular topic like a concept or a sum, and you would not move from the place unless and until you finish it fully. So it can be that you finished off very quickly, then you can take a break quickly. If you are going to take hours together and sit with a simple chapter, then it's your problem. You have to sit with it and just make sure you complete it and only then move. So these are the 2 types of breaks that you can take. And the next thing that you have to be very mindful about, there are 3 things to be precise. 1 is the number of breaks you take. 2, the duration of each break. And 3 is what you do during that break. So it can be anything, like I told you, listening to music, talking to a friend about studies or not, talking to your family, just playing a sport that you like, some indoor game, some online game, browsing through social media, anything and everything that can help you to refresh your mind. But just make sure that it isn't anything that is very distracting. Like all of this also might be distracting just if there's an overdose of the same. So make sure everything is within the limit and you have a sufficient amount of all of it to make sure you have a very composite, eclectic mix of all what you want to do in a day. That will really help you to push yourself and study for longer hours. Then lastly, which is very, very important, is the fact that you should not battle against your own body, guys. It is very important. Please do not fight a battle against your own mind and body. If your body physically or mentally says it is enough for the day, or you're tired, or you want to just give up, it's okay. Just go with it and call it quits for the day. Otherwise, there are a lot of ill impacts. 2, to be very specific. 1 is that you would anyway not understand or be able to retain any of what you study during that extra hours that you've pushed yourself for. Secondly, this deteriorates the quality of studying and exhausts you for the next day. So there will be an automatic carry forward impact from the previous day. So this is going to hamper your studying on the whole. So to just sum it up quickly, make sure you take more number of breaks, but maybe smaller ones, in order to be able to push and study for longer duration. Secondly, stay focused to the maximum extent possible with utmost sincerity. Give your best while you study, and the rest of the time you can take your breaks and just chill out. And lastly, be mindful about all what you do during your breaks and just make sure you study for the longest time possible. And I'll close on one simple note. It is not possible to start studying 12 hours a day overnight. It is a gradual process and it does take time. Start with 3, 4, 5 hours a day, and gradually you'll be able to clock 12 hours a day and study for longer hours and be able to rock in your exams. All the very best. Good luck, guys. Thank you.